Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for tuning in. So today I wanted to have a quick chat about how I went back to work after my maternity leave. And so I just thought, I would share with you my experience and how I went about it, in case you are about to go through the same thing, or you're currently going through the same thing, and maybe just needed some kind of different perspective. So I worked literally up until a week before I gave birth. I wanted to save my annual leave days for when Kai got sick, or if I had to take him for a doctor's appointment or something along those lines. So I didn't use any of my leave, like my normal annual leave days. So I used my so basically my entire maternity leave was 4 months in total, and that I started that a week before I actually gave birth. So I worked right up until that point, just so that I could spend the most time I could with my baby at home. So when you actually take your leave, is completely up to you. I know that a lot of companies say that you, especially depending on the industry that you work in, you have to start your maternity leave, I think about 4 weeks before you're due. Some it's 6 weeks. So obviously triple check that. But with my company, when I did declare that I was expecting, and I wanted to just start preparing my maternity leave and all of my benefits, I had a chat with HR, and they told me that I could work up until I'm done. So that's why I decided to actually use all of my 4 months for after I gave birth. Thankfully, our domestic helper she had really wanted from the get-go, as soon as she saw that I was pregnant, she really wanted to take care of my baby. And so we had employed her for a couple of years before, and she used to just come for on a weekly basis to help with the housework. And so we said, let's give it a go, and I always wanted somebody older, almost like an older auntie, or like a gran, for my baby, in terms of a nanny. So that's what we ended up doing. I wanted to make sure that the transition was going to work out smoothly, not just for me, but all obviously for Kai, and for my domestic as well. So she started when Kai was 3 months old, so we could have that overlap of a month. So I was still at home when she started taking care of him, so that I could show her how to do certain things, and just ease into it, and for everybody, so that by the time I went back to work a month later, hopefully everyone was going to be okay. So yeah, I went back to work in the beginning of November. And oh wow, it was one of the hardest days of my life. I kept trying to prep myself mentally for it, but it was when I left that morning, when I left home, I knew obviously he was in good hands, because I know her, I've seen her with him, and he loves her. But there was just that heaviness in my heart, leaving him behind. And it was the whole day at work, when I finally got to work, I was just such a mixed bag of emotions. I just sort of thought, this is it then? We give birth and that's it? Not that's it, but we give birth only to hand over our babies to someone else to take care of, whether it's daycare or nanny or grandma or whoever is taking care of the child. And obviously in my case it was nanny, and I felt horrible. I felt like the guiltiest mom in the world. Why did I do this? Why did I go through all of this only for me to leave my poor baby, who was tiny at that point? Obviously at 4 months he was tiny. How do I do this, and what am I doing this all for? So I felt like the very stereotypical mom guilt. It's real. It's real. My husband works from home, and thankfully, obviously, he's around, but he's obviously not around because he has to work. But that first day, he said he unfortunately couldn't get any work done because Kai was just hysterical. He refused to eat. He refused to drink milk. Like, he was just like, what is going on? Where is my mommy? What have you done with her? He was just miserable with everybody. And so when he told me this, when I got home, I just felt awful. Like, what do we do? What do we do now? Like, you know, how do I go back to work tomorrow? But by day 2, he was apparently a completely different baby. It's almost like he said, okay, mommy's not here anymore. This is a different ball game. So I was really hungry yesterday, so I need to eat today. So it's almost like he had a day of restlessness and mourning, and then he was over it. He was done. And I thought, okay, well, great, but I'm still like, I don't know how to deal with it. And I thought to myself, if he's okay, then surely I should be okay, you know? So I eventually started to, like, after about like the second week or so, I eventually started to just think of it very, very differently. I'm not going back to work for fun, you know? I'm going so that I can provide, you know, a better life for my son, and I can feed him, and I can clothe him, and, you know, give him the opportunities that he deserves. So when I went back to work, I posted on my Instagram that I was going back to work, and I got so much love from people, from fellow moms, who could totally relate about the whole mom guilt thing, and trying to just explain to me, look, it doesn't get easier necessarily, but you get more used to it. Like, you become more conditioned to it. So, I mean, obviously at that time, I didn't know that that was the case, because I was in it, you know, I was so in it. But looking back on it, that's exactly what it is, you know. Now I could see that it's actually, it's good for him, you know, to be away from me sometimes. We can't always be together. I would love to spend more time with him. Don't get me wrong, there are days when I'm at work and I'm like, I just want to go home to my baby. Especially like recently, he started crawling when I was gone, when I was at work. And, you know, I was just like, oh, you know, I've been waiting to see him crawl for like the past month, and he finally started doing it when I was at work. But I mean, if I was to sort of give any advice to any other moms going through this or about to go through this, it would definitely be, one, make sure that you have a plan for your baby's like daycare situation. You know, whether you are going to leave him or her at creche, are you going to be able to hire full-time help, or is, you know, a relative going to be able to take care of your baby whilst you're at work? Whatever it is, definitely, I definitely think that it helped for me to have that transition period, you know, that overlap of a month, so that I could see that he was gonna be okay. Yes, that first day when I got back was hard, but I think he eased back into it quicker because he knows, you know, our domestic helper. He knows her. He's seen me with her. He was comfortable with her by that point, and by that point also she was comfortable with him as well, you know, like she knew how to put him to bed, and, you know, what foods he liked to eat and that kind of thing, because we started him on solids by then already. So it was I definitely think that helps. Second is to give yourself some time. Don't expect to rush back to work and be, you know, sort of in it straight away. Some people will expect you to, that's for sure, but try to give yourself some time. If it's on your commute to work and your commute from work, that's what I did. I just sort of like had to kind of reorganize like the folders in my head, you know, like, or like take off my mommy hat and put on my employee hat, you know, and put that back and forth. So definitely give yourself some time to adjust, and if it makes you feel better, definitely keep in touch with whoever it is that is taking care of your baby. If it's on a maybe every couple of hours basis, a quick WhatsApp, if they can send you a video or something just to ease you into it, because it can be quite a shock to be with your baby and your baby's everything for like the first 3 months, 4 months, however long it is, and then all of a sudden it's nothing, like going cold turkey. It's hectic. So try and ease yourself into it. Remember that you're working so that you can be the best mom you can be to your child. It's so important, and I think we as women, we tend to kind of get caught up in this whole expectation of, you know, all before a baby we are wives, we are friends, we are daughters, we're career women, and then when we have a baby it's like, oh, we're a mom, and that's almost like that's it, I'm a mom now, that's it. But also just remember that your job, especially if you love your job, you know, that's part of you, and you've worked really hard to get to where you are, and you have more, you know, more places to go in your line of work, you know, climbing up the ladder, whatever it is, whatever your ambitions are. And that's important, because if you're not happy, then your baby's not going to be happy. And if you are working not just from a money point of view, just from a mental point of view, at least you can remove yourself from home and miss home, you know. So it does get like tiring, obviously, but I do appreciate the fact that I'm able to go somewhere else during the day, and then I can miss home. So when I'm home, I'm really here, and I appreciate the time that I have with my family, with my baby. And yeah, and it also teaches your kids the greatness that is work ethic, you know, at the end of the day. So those would be sort of my tips, I guess, little nuggets of advice if you are going through it, or if you're going to go through it. And keep at it, mamas, you know, we're here for you. If you're watching this and you've gone through this before, please leave a comment below for anybody else who is going to need some help. If you have any extra tips that you can add on to mine, that'll be awesome. I really love how, you know, when I got pregnant and when I had Kai, how all these women, you know, online and real life just sort of have banded together. Like we band together in motherhood. And I think it's so important to keep sharing our experiences, sharing our tips and advice to fellow moms. So yeah, thanks for watching. And if you like this video and you'd like to see some more of these mommy chats, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. So cute. So it's got some weird monster kind of character, the jumper, and then these like tracksuit pants, very, very cool. And she also got us these booties, also from Cotton On Kids.